and Indy are what they're like. Although their real names are Christy and Mike. Can they pin down the treasure? They just might. Tune in to find out Monday nights. Kpro Cow Pow Wow. Kpro Cow Pow Wow Wow. It's the Kpro Cow Pow Wow.
Okay, take it away, Kpro. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there's a problem because
What?
I'm actually listening to. Hold on.
Uh-oh, technical difficulties, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. How's everybody doing?
Okay, Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's okay. What's wrong? Can you hear the video play or what? All you got to do is mute it, the YouTube video, if it's playing somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Just hit mute.
If I mute the YouTube. Okay.
What's up, everybody?
Hold on.
I
Just
really don't
give
like
me a
how
quick
YouTube
second.
has changed things. So, yeah, they've changed how you go live, how it looks, and it's really, I don't like it. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. How's everybody doing? Did you eat your turkey and your ham and your peas and your candied yams and your potatoes, baked potatoes, and your cherry cobbler, and of course pumpkin pie? That's like the staple, right? And even if you had Taco Bell, whatever you had today, hopefully you gave thanks, because that's what today's all about, right? Thanksgiving. Fenn Fan says we can hear you, so I can hear you. I'm not sure what Kpro's doing. I'm not sure what the issue is she's having. Let's see here. Okay, so Super Chat's on. Hit the video, hit a thumbs up on the video for going live on Thanksgiving. You know, a couple of people said, why would you go live on Thanksgiving? Because everybody's busy. Well, it's 6 o'clock here on the West Coast. It's 9 p.m. on the East Coast. You can only take so much of the family. So why not check it out, lay on the couch, get your phone or whatever your device is, and let's go live. All right, let me try this. See if I can get this to work. Hey, there's our live subscriber count at 798. So right there, we should at least be able to get that to hit 800 tonight, right? Well, what's up? You good?
Hi. Yes, I was hearing you, and then you delayed by 15 seconds. So talking at the exact same time.
Yeah. Audio, video, boy. Who was in the AV club in school? Because I was not. All right.
And Czar, I wore this hat for you, I just want to say. And you will be seeing other things.
The Lions lose another one. I know.
Yes.
Put that right up there at the top. Boop. Okay, talk to him, Kpro. I'm going to grab some coffee.
Okay. Well, I don't know what Mike said, so I'm going to be probably repeating. So happy Thanksgiving. I made a turkey, and I made stuffing and mashed potatoes and cranberry. Actually, cranberry was out of a can. And Hawaiian
cranberries.
bread.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah. Oh, that's the favorite part, when you put that in like a little sandwich in the Hawaiian bread. It's awesome. So
my favorite part was stovetop stuffing, just regular stovetop stuffing from the box. Yeah. At least when I was a kid.
That, yes. Okay. You have to like the whole moderation monopoly going on. I don't know what that means, but okay.
I don't know either.
I am much louder than Mike, not in real life. So let me just turn mine down. There, I just turned mine down. Hopefully I'm too loud. Okay, so we're full. My son had 2 rounds of food. We have more leftovers than we do food consumption. So we are doing wonderfully. And it was just in time. I think, Mike, you just ate, but we ate. We do an early eat because at like 3 o'clock, and then you get another round at like 6 o'clock. So the one thing I did forget, though, was dessert. And my son's like, it's okay, we'll just do that tomorrow. So my son.
Hey, look at that. Hey. It's pretty cool. Okay, anyway, sorry.
Okay, so, Mike was making some coffee. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I am thankful to my family, and I'm getting through another year. And of course, I am thankful to Michael and all the fun that we've been having lately.
Yeah, thank you to Kpro. She's made a lot of this stuff happen, guys. Because I tell you what, if it was just me, even if I would go live like we have been, it would still just been by myself. We wouldn't have been doing a lot of these things. Kpro is the impetus of a lot of that. So,
Some
I'm
people are
here.
like, get rid of Kpro.
Uh, I'm here in Vegas by myself. The boys are at their mother's for Thanksgiving, so I'm here all by myself. So some people out there don't have family, or they're just, they've done their family thing, but they're back home. So we thought, why not go live? Any turkey sandwiches yet? It's a little early for turkey sandwiches, isn't it?
No,
Not yet.
no,
Oh, okay.
no. There
Hey,
might be
Captain
one.
Marvel. Huh?
I really like the little Hawaiian bread because then you just put a little
Yeah,
bit of
those are good.
turkey in, and that's
It's
not a meal,
it's like
and so it's not cheating when you do a midnight.
it's like a White Castle sandwich, a mini slider, except turkey.
Oh, except it's real food, not that garbage.
Captain Marvel says, I'm thankful for you two guys. Oh, well, thanks. We appreciate that. So today, when I went live on my own, was it a week ago? People are like, you never actually got to the poem. You talked
Yes.
about everything about the poem. So we're actually going to get to the poem tonight. So everybody out there can weigh in on your thoughts. Where's my mouse?
And
Your thoughts
thank you.
on the
That's
poem.
nice. Captain Marvel says he's thankful to us. And
Yeah.
Ron, the only twins I'm having is double drinks, baby. So yes, that is, we are done with. But I so have gotten somebody that has helped me with an idea. So William, be afraid. Be afraid.
Fan says my boys are with their mom too, and single dad turkey days are at the restaurant. I went to Blueberry. I got their turkey dinner. I came home. I just ate it about an hour ago. So I was here boxing Chaseopolis, and all of a sudden the fire alarm goes off. I was on the phone with Kpro, and all of a sudden the fire alarm, and a loud fire alarm, not my little smoke detector. So I go outside. Apparently there's fire alarms on the outside of the building, and either somebody pulled one or it malfunctioned. And when it does that, every smoke detector and every apartment in the complex goes off. But there's this loud, so I had to leave. I waited 10 minutes.
Oh, it
still
was
wasn't
loud.
fixed. Yeah, it was bad.
It was loud.
People were out, and it's pouring rain out here in Vegas. So people were out in the parking lot going, "I got kids. What are we doing here?" So I just went to the casino. I left. I said, "I'm out." So
See, it's like if I wasn't on the phone with you when it happened, I'd be like, "Oh, Mike has an excuse of getting to the casino without me."
And Sassy says, you can come to my house on Sunday for our Thanksgiving meal. Well, if I was in that state, Sassy, I would. But thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
No,
well, and I don't like it when you are alone. And so you just wait till Christmas. You will not be. You will have me there. I've not booked my tickets, but I'm in education. What do you get? You get like 3 weeks off. So
cool.
I'm bombing. I'm going. I'm heading and the fam to Vegas. So it will be fun.
It'll be a fun Christmas. And we'll probably go live and talk to you guys too. Sin City Searcher, you're here in Vegas, I take it. So they say their kids are grown and doing the family thing in another state. So it's just me and my wife here in town. That's awesome. Hopefully we'll meet you at the next Vegas meetup if we didn't already meet you at the last Vegas meetup. So yeah, the Chaseopolis are going good. I've gotten 76 Chaseopolis out in the mail since we started this thing, and I still got more to go. But all of them will be out in the mail by Wednesday. If you have ordered one, it will be. Oh, you know what? I'm going to give myself a little room and say Friday of next week. I say Wednesday because my mother flies into town Wednesday, so I'm trying to get it done so I can get this stuff out of the living room. But
okay, so now you had an issue with me calling her Mama Cow. I thought it was endearing.
No.
What should we call?
I said she might have an issue.
What should we call Mama Cowling? Ma? You call her Ma. When we talk about just Ma. Okay, just Ma. So when we talk about Ma, you guys know. I'm sure she's so sweet. I think she'd go with anything. But you know her better than I, obviously.
Fine. I was joking. Okay. She's fine.
Okay. I don't want to. I mean, she already found out about the twins the weekend we were there. So, I mean, I'm treading on thin ice right now. So, anyway.
All right. Hey, we hit 800 subscribers. Thanks, Billy Price. Boom. I didn't even notice. So that's awesome. Boom. You guys can see that right there is a real-time subscriber count. So, boom. All right. Thanks, everybody, for hitting. And you guys really should subscribe to the Hint of Riches because at the end of tonight's show, we're going to talk about Monday's show. Monday, we're going to have a guest. Monday, we're going to be showing video clips. I know you guys are going to want to see it. But we're going to talk about that at the end. Right now, well, let's get into the poem. So is there anything you want to go over before we jump into the poem? Miss Detroit.
No, so we're going to talk about the new, yes, here I am.
Lost another Thanksgiving
my
day.
people, like I went and rapped on 8 Mile. It was awesome. Okay, so yeah, we're going to talk about World Series FM, we're going to talk about our new Monday series. So the first part of the series does have a guest for next Monday. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the documentary, just updates, questions you might have. I might not have a lot of updates, but at least I'll have something. Or I'll answer your questions. And then some people have been asking about a marathon, and I will give that update at the end. But we like to dive into hard-hitting content for the people that like it. So let's dive into, someone said a poem. What's a poem? We haven't talked about a poem in so long. Wow.
AJ said Cowlazars. Cowlazars. That's pretty good. But Odin says, does anybody follow the Forrest Fenn Reddit group? What do you think about what they post up there? Yeah, I've read it, and I used to post the links, but they kind of came down and said enough bickering and no more links and whatever, so I haven't posted in it in a while. But yeah, sometimes I read through what's on Reddit. A lot of newer searchers, I think a lot of people who don't know have all the info that we have, maybe. They ask kind of the questions that have already been answered. But no, it's fine.
Yeah. I go up there to read things when I post the videos. I think they're maybe the harshest of the group because they don't seem to care if a 10-year-old is in, and comes with the territory. But I think the group as a whole kind of is they're just kind of a cutthroat group. So you have to be focused. You are allowed to talk about other things other than the YouTubers you're allowed to talk about. But if any tuber comes into town, they just don't like them. They don't care if even a 10-year-old's talking about the poem. That's just not good enough for them. So I kind of stay clear of it, even though I occasionally will post. But if I even post my opinions, I have 4 or 5 people of, why are you even in here? You're only on YouTube. It's like, okay, well, then I'll just go elsewhere then.
Go away.
So that I find the forums, which the forums usually get a little negative, I find Reddit even harsher. There's just a lot more trolls, and they're allowed to be trolls. I don't know how it's controlled and stuff. So I just stay away from it. So but it's a huge group.
Odin says you answered it exactly. And I think in Reddit there's a lot of people who maybe aren't Forrest Fenn fans, meaning a lot of people think it's a hoax. So they probably just go in there and say, this is stupid. Well,
and anyone that is friends or knows or have ever met Forrest, it's so unfair. And you could say what color is the sky, and it's like, you're friends with they don't seem to be able to get away from themselves. But I will say, I only started on Facebook about a year ago, and the Facebook sites, they're amazing. The ones that I'm a part of, especially of course Mike's. I have to say Mike's first, Forrest Fenn Grand Adventure, but Galore, Janet Langard runs a great one. Joel Lewicki, his has grown huge. There's 2 or 3 that things are up there very, very, very quickly. I haven't seen MD777 on Hint of Riches. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
That's because MDC, much like the Phoenix out of the Flames, MDC 777 was transformed into Cowlazars. So if you guys don't know.
But even Cowlazars, you're not big on forums. I think you're more of a Facebooker. You're on Facebook all the time doing the swipe go over kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. I don't get on the forums that much. That's true.
Yeah. So, and I'm on there. I'm getting some heat because some people have said I'm not there as much, and I'm just not, because Facebook makes it real easy. But hard-hitting content, I really like to hit the forums because then I can go and search it later. So anyway, let's get the poem. There's a poem, right? Let's focus on that poem.
Stacey Hardwood says, Kpro, you were a cool mom. Keep up the good work. Karma is on your side. If anybody doesn't know, Kpro and Dpro just uploaded a video about searching for gold, or I should say panning for gold. So you guys can check that out.
Yeah, and so those of you that didn't know, we did it totally wrong. And the very cool part is these nuggets are really big. Some people are like, those are huge nuggets. And so we're going to put those nuggets back in, and we're going to repan, because we had this pan, and then we had a little ramekin is what we panned into.
What's
you're supposed to have like a bucket. It's gold.
Ramekin, what did you say?
A ramekin. You know what a ramekin is, right? Like when you ask for a side of ketchup at the grocery or at the restaurant, they bring it to you in a little ramekin.
No, I've never heard that term before.
You've never been a server? I was a waitress for too many years. Can I have a ramekin?
So a ketchup packet is the loose one. And you're saying a ramekin is the little rectangular one. I know what you're saying.
Or no, it's not or it could be circular. It looks like a little shot glass of ketchup or mayo or whatever it is. when they bring you.
I've never heard that term. Well, we learn something every day, don't we, everybody? Everybody put in the chat if you've ever heard the word ramekin or not. Say yes or no.
Oh my gosh, I'd love to. Let's do it. Let's make this about ramekin. Come on, you guys have had to have heard of a ramekin. Ramekin, holy, it's like ramekin.
Right, ramekin.
Odin,
I've never heard
ramekin.
That. Maybe because I went to public school. I don't know. That's weird. I've never heard of it before.
Wait. You went to a private school. I went to a public school, and no, I was a waitress for years.
High school. That's true.
Yeah. I was a server for years, and that's why, because I work for my tips.
Ceramic dip dish. Okay. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked. Sorry about that, everybody.
Okay. Everyone says yes. Let's just say. Okay. And I never heard of Coney Island. So, two worlds have come together, and we love each other.
All right.
Honey.
I can write a poem all about Coney Island. Nobody would know what the hell I'm talking about. Now I can use ramekin, too. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we've got this little 166-word poem. If you haven't heard, there's this $1 million plus treasure hunt out there. And the guy says there's 9 clues in this poem. If you figure out what they mean, it'll lead you right to it. Not in the general area, not the state, not the county, not the zip code, but it will lead you right to it, which is the blaze, at least we think. So let's talk about the first stanza. A lot of people have said if the first clue is where warm waters halt, which we know because he said it, this is clue number 1, then what is going on with the first stanza? Why is the first stanza there? What do you think, Kpro?
I think it has to give us, Forrest has said, and gosh, I hope I'm not doing anything that comes in the documentary, but Forrest has said, I think, generally speaking, that, what did he say about the first stanza? I think it was in the documentary, so I can't say.
No.
I think it gives you a general location. Oh, no, he says don't ignore any nouns. We have nouns in there, so we cannot ignore that first stanza.
Well,
so
that's a good question. Which are the nouns in the first stanza? Treasures would be a noun, right? With my treasures bold. Is secret a noun?
I think secret's a noun. Some of these can be both nouns and verb. That's another thing. Yeah. That would be fun to do. I think I'm going to do another little project of look up all the nouns, every single one that could be a noun, and then you can hyperlink over it, and it actually shows you what the noun mean.
That would be cool. The definition.
That would be cool.
That's really what I think the key to this thing is looking up the definitions of some of these words.
Yes. Yes.
Halt can be a noun.
David and I did the
but the word halt can be a noun. Yeah.
David did we did the meek, and he's like, I don't know what meek means. And I kind of winged it. And then somebody threw a comment up, and thank you for that. They threw a comment up and they're like, yeah, meek, this is what the definition of meek meant. And they actually put up the dictionary term, and it was like, wow, I was saying it a little differently. I thought it like scary, tired, kind of like, oh, weak. No, like, oh no, I won't do it. We have to actually look it up. It's the comment in Kpro's latest video. Yeah. Okay, Sassy, we talked about it too. So we can't ignore any nouns. So the first stanza to me gives you either a state or a general location, because where warm waters halt is the first actual, I believe the nine clues are the nine clues sentences. Are the 9 locations.
Okay.
And so because they're locations, I think the stanza 1 gets you to a general area that you can then hone in on where warm waters halt. Boom. What do you think, Michael?
I think Forrest is trying to tell a story through his poem. We know the poem is a treasure map. He said that. But I think he's also telling a story. And I think the first stanza is the intro to the story. I mean, what if somebody just comes across this poem and it just says, begin at where warm waters halt, and take it in, and they're going to be like, well, begin what? What are we doing? The first stanza, I think, tells us he went alone somewhere, and he took his treasures with him, and he's got a secret, and there's hints of the riches new and old, which is the rest of the poem. I think it's like an intro. Now, I'm not saying there's no hints, that we may have to use something in the first stanza to figure out the clues. That's possible. But I really think it's there kind of as an intro. He could have said.
But you're kissing me, right? You're saying, keep it simple, stupid. You're like, let's keep it simple. You're saying literal. You're saying, okay, alone.
Right, yes.
Like he says, Terry Scant means get the hell out of there. Gone alone means he's alone. And treasures bold. Okay, can I tell you on my first solve?
Mm-hmm.
I thought treasures bold is when he went skinny dipping in Ojo Caliente.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Treasures were bold. I mean, come on. You got to love he said use imagination. I mean, come on.
So
it's okay.
In other words, he could have said, "I Forrest Fenn in how does the will start? I so and so in the right frame of mind,
sound mind,
sound mind and body, do da da da." It's kind of like that. He's telling a story. He's saying, "I went in there by myself. I took my treasures. I put them in a secret place. That's the secret where. I think the word where is a noun when it comes to this. In my secret location." And hint of riches, new and old. So there's hints, which I think he means in this poem. There's hints of where that location is.
What do you think the new and old are?
And now a lot of people say the treasure because there's old stuff in there and then there's new gold. And that could be. It could be that the one thing that he's never told anybody about is the new riches. The person who finds the chest gets to find out what the new riches are. The old riches are all the coins and all the artifacts and all the things that he's mentioned and told us about. But it could be that there is another riches in that chest and nobody knows what it is. And that's the new riches. That might be something that you get that's outside of the chest. Possibly.
That's interesting because I take it totally different. I say riches new is the person getting the treasure chest, and the old is him and his secrets and cracking this poem of why it's important to him.
So Billy Price, are you saying I'm too loud or Kpro is too loud?
Oh, Billy
it's
Price.
Probably me knowing my voice, but no, see, and then we're on a delay. So when I say that, it takes a minute to get it through the chat. Okay. But it's probably me.
So since none of the things in the chest are new, that word is an aberration. So perhaps new is New Mexico. Sassy. Okay, I'm going to say maybe because we don't know if there's something new. I think there is one item that is new in the chest. I'm going to be bold here. I think there's one item that is new.
Yeah, and
everything else is old.
Title to the gold. Right. I think title to the gold is what's new. We don't know what that means, but there's something in that chest. It's a title of some kind, and that could, maybe you're deeded the land, or maybe you're deeded something, right. And that's the new.
See, I'm with Jack. We can't ignore it, but we can't say. I think there's a couple new tubers out there, and they're like, "I'm a 9 sentences person," and there's 9 clues, 9 sentences. And Billy Price, please keep us honest. Tell us, Kpro is too loud, Harrison. Mike, can you turn yourself up? I can't turn myself down anymore.
Could you
speaker headphones?
Yeah, not really.
Okay, I'm down on. You're not. I'm down on 2.
Went on mine, so that's strange that it's coming out with too loud.
Okay, I just turned mine down again. Billy, tell me if that helps.
Okay.
Okay.
So Lappy Bandit has got a different idea. He says it's not the riches that are new and old; it's the hints that are new and old. The hints. I can keep my secret where and hint of riches new and old. The hint is the new and old part. That's interesting. Not nothing to do with the treasure chest, but the hint. That is interesting.
Okay, so but here's the big thing for me, for the people that, and I'm not going to say yours is wrong and don't do it. You're just as wrong in my mind, and I'm no one but a searcher. So the first stanza cannot be ignored. It does give us the general location, but it is not one of the 9 locations that you need, as in the 9 clues in the poem, because Forrest has said 16 different ways from Sunday. The first hint is where warm waters halt. So since he said that, that is the first hint. So I want to shout out to some new searchers and tubers that are out there. They are the 9 sentences, and I say keep going. You guys are doing great. I just think differently than that. I'm going to go as much with what Forrest says as possible. Okay, so here we are at the first stanza is taking us to a general location. Do you agree, Michael?
Say it again. Taking us, yes, I believe it's taking us to a general location.
And there's some hints in there. And there's some hints that even can span outside the general location. Hints of new and old, that sort of thing. I think it can tell us about contents, other things. That's where I'm at.
Jeffrey says, why is the word and capitalized? Well, all the first letters of the stanza and the lines are capitalized. Yeah. So I don't look at it as he specifically capitalized and. Now, maybe he did, but what I'm saying is all the letters, the first letters are capitalized. So.
And I will say you need to put Kpro for me to be able to see it, and you need to put the hint of riches for Mike to be able to see it. Jack says, I am wrong. That is the first clue in the first stanza. Okay, then why did Forrest say the first clue is where warm water salt? Is he just lying to us? Should we ignore him? Get it, lying?
Yeah.
Lying. So I am okay with other people having different interpretations. This is just what I think, and I base it off of specifically what Forrest has said many times, including in an upcoming documentary that hopefully you will all see. Okay.
Billy Price says you're waking up his son. Cut it out. Maybe you
Oh,
have a
then I
higher
need
pitch.
to sing
I
a
don't know.
lullaby.
A
Lullaby and good night
Oh.
to Billy Price's son.
That's
I'm
funny.
a bad singer. I'm sorry. I'll talk lower. I can't go any lower on my mic. I don't know what else to do. Maybe I'll just pull it away from my face. Hopefully, Billy. Hopefully that works.
Maybe mine has to be louder. I don't know. They didn't turn everything down. But anyway, beginning where water's halt is definitely the first clue. If anybody thinks the first clue is in the first stanza, then I don't know how you can think that because it contradicts what Forrest says. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So
in my opinion, in our, but who are we? We don't have the treasure chest, so don't think we're saying you have to agree with us. We're saying what we think. And again, 500,000 people are wrong. So there you have it. Okay.
Well, Sledneck, yeah, apparently Forrest did have to tell us what the first clue is because nobody could agree.
Oh, come on. It's a little, a little jab to me. It's a little jab.
Jack said, you said where warm water's halt's the first hint. He was just correcting you. It's the first clue.
Oh.
That's all.
Okay.
Now, here's
well, then,
one
Jack,
for
Jack,
you,
we do agree.
everybody. Is Canyon Down clue number 2?
Absolutely.
Or do some people think
100%.
Canyon Down is not clue number 2?
Clue number 2 is Canyon Down. Period.
Well, yeah, I guess it would be. Because if the 9 clues are 9 geographic locations, which I agree with that, then I guess when you're at where warm water's halt, you've got to go down the canyon. That is a geographic location. So it's the canyon, and also it's down, I think. It's telling you which way to go. So, yeah, I would agree that's clue number 2. But now it gets tricky. Just too far to walk a clue.
Okay, wait. Let's not go too far past.
Okay.
I don't know if this was one of the secret recordings that went out or not, but there was a recording where Forrest asked me, well, where's your warm waters halt? And I was like, Madison Junction. No. I was like, this was where I was telling him about my Nez Perce solve. And he was like, well, then where's the canyon? And I said, well, the canyon's at the second. This is when he was going from the first battle to the second battle. And he's like, how far away was that? And I'm like, oh, it's like 60 miles. And he's like, warm water's halt canyon. I've told you it's contiguous.
Right. They touch each other. The clues touch each other, everybody. That's what I believe he means.
Well, now that he said contiguous, consecutive, I mean, he's gone through. Yeah. That is why it hit me where he was looking kind of like the Terry Scant one. Now, I don't have it. The audio was out. I don't have access to the full audios of myself. And so that I believe was in there. People ask me, then that confirms that Canyon is number 2. That is why I believe Canyon's number 2 for sure. Mm-hmm. Just like 1 mile for sure for me. That doesn't mean it needs to be for sure for you because you didn't
lock it in. Right.
I'm locked in.
Because I think they're geographic locations and that they touch. I mean, if I'm at the right spot, we get it where warm water's halt, and then I have to go down the canyon. It's obviously clue 2. I'm standing somewhere. Where do I go to find this thing? Clue 2 is taken in the canyon down. And then do you want to talk about all 9 clues being inside the search area or not? Because in my opinion, they are, because remember, we're simplifying. We're keeping it simple, stupid. It just would make sense. Why would he put them why would he put out the map and too far to walk if where warm water's halt is outside that highlighted area? To me, it just doesn't make any sense.
So I was struggling one night, and this was when I was between solves waiting to get the New Mexico solve. And I messaged Forrest and I just said, I'm so frustrated. And we went back and forth. He's like, he was really nice. This was maybe a year or 2 ago. Or a year and a half ago. I don't know when. And I threw out something. I'm like, because I do believe it's a geothermal feature. And he did not say yes or no because he never does. He just asked to reflect. I sent him, there was a very western New Mexico spring. And I said, oh, have you ever been here? Could be where warm water's halt? And he's like, is that in the Rockies? And I was like, what is that?
So he said, is that in the Rockies?
Yes. And I said, no. And he said, okay. It was like,
I think Forrest is kind of like, it's a lot more simpler than what you're making it, people.
Come on.
So because of that.
So I think all 9 are actually within all 9 of the hints or the clues. I'm sorry, clues. Sorry, Jessica. Yeah. Are within the search. over 5,000, under 10,000 too, in the Rockies, in the 4 search states, all of those.
And another thing that I think is important, what that means if you agree with that, Captain Marvel says, OMG. What that means, if you believe that, is the only place you have to look is the highlighted area and Too Far to Walk. You don't have to look anywhere else. I know it makes it still hard as heck, but you're not looking in Texas. You're not up in Canada. You're just in that highlighted area for all these clues, all 9 clues. Just look in that highlighted area.
But also, I think you're in a relatively small area. When mine followed the Nez Perce Trail, Lewis Park, all that, it was like you go from one to the second. He's like 60 miles away. They're contiguous. And I was like, okay. And he was saying it almost frustrated, kind of like Terry Scan. Means get the heck out of there. Same sort of thing. And again, I don't think he said a lot of it in different ways all through these different interviews. He just said it so poignant to me that it was like, yeah, okay. Yeah.
All right, Odin, check it out on the replay. He's got to go to work in a little while.
Welcome, Odin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right, just to recap, this is just what me and Kpro believe, everybody. We realize, one, this is our opinion. I don't even think I should have to say that, but I will. Our opinion is that all 9 clues are within the highlighted area on the Too Far to Walk map, right? The first clue is where warm waters halt. The second clue is in the canyon down. But here's the hard part. What about not far but too far to walk? Is that a clue or is that not a clue?
In my opinion, I do not put it lock solid that it is a clue. In my opinion.
Right.
I think it's just, I actually have an upcoming video of what David thinks of it, what my little guy thinks of it, of not far but too far to walk. Because he hit that a little bit, but I wanted to talk a little bit more about it. So I personally is just, and that's actually, I struggle with this. Not far, but too far to walk. Why? Because I know he walked it. So why is it far, but not too far? I think there's something clever here that we have to figure out.
Right. And my take on it is I don't think it's a clue either. I think he's giving us a hint about where we go looking for Homer Brown. So we started on clue number 1. And clue number 2 is a direction. Clue number 2 is to walk or to go down the canyon down. Well, how far? He's giving us a clue on where to look for Homer Brown. I don't think this is a geographic location. This is the next geographic location.
That's what I
this
believe,
you could call it a hint, maybe, or you could say this is part of clue number 2, or you could say this is part of. Actually, there is a period here that I missed. Right, too far to walk. Period. Yes. So because he put a period there,
punctuation does not matter though, so I don't care.
I'm just saying. I don't believe it's a clue too. I know a lot of people might. What's Czar say? Not the word far, but too far to the word walk. Too far to the word walk. Well, I don't know what that means, Czar. I don't know what you mean by that. I think this is just saying it could. Now, if we're taking it literal, maybe he means get in your car and drive. So, in other words, if I figure out where warm waters halt and I'm on a map, right, and I'm going along the map and I'm like, how far down is this thing? Maybe this is a named location on the map, and he's trying to tell us you don't walk it. Maybe you don't even have to physically go to these 2 places. I don't know. I'm just guessing here.
Well, we have a whole discussion about a car coming up on Monday, y'all.
Yeah, that's right. We'll have a special guest, and also
maybe that's where he's talking about the car, like that we're going to be talking about.
We're also going to show a clip from the interview we did with Douglas and Forrest. So check that out on Monday. And
we'll talk about that more in about 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
That'll be on the Hint of Riches channel too.
Hint of Riches, guys.
The other thing is he said the little girl from India could not get past the first 2 clues. So that means to me this is a named location on a map. The canyon is named on the map. There's a name of a canyon. But Homer Brown is not named on a map. You've got to physically be there to figure out.
And there's something right there that the not far but too far to walk is something about that little girl from India. There's something there. That's all I'm saying. Something there.
And maybe he put this line in to make people realize you now have to be boots on the ground. He's telling you don't walk it, but you have to go there. You've got to physically go there in order to find Homer Brown. There's something visual where you'll see it.
Tertus Maximus says, what does he say? Warm water temperature halt outflowing Google triple water point. I haven't Googled that, but I will say it's an interesting discussion. Does the water halt, the physical water, or does the temperature cool down?
That's a good one too.
Change? there's a whole discussion to be had there. My son believes it is the temperature, but not the water, because you have to follow the water partially through the canyon, but not all the way through the canyon. Wow, there you
What's
go.
partially mean?
He actually said it at the end of your WWWH. There's a spot where the water starts to turn, and then it'll direct you to the canyon, but the water actually doesn't go down the canyon. Like, that's where you know you're down the right canyon, because there's no water there. I'm like, wow, that's big. That's big. He's so going to find this thing, and we are all going to be in awe.
Nordic Knight says Homa Brown is on the map. Man, maybe. It could be. I just don't know. But there's something about the not far but too far to walk. I mean, he tells us where to begin it. He tells us to take it in a canyon down. And then before we put in this below the Homa Brown, he says not far but too far to walk. So I hope that's something that's obvious when you're in the correct canyon. I just don't know if that's going to be the case or not. So let's go off the assumption that Homa Brown is clue number 3. Okay?
That is your and my assumption. We are searching in different states, but we agree so far on the clues.
But I also like it if too far to walk means to drive. If we're driving down and I see the Homa Brown, put in could mean park. You're going to put in and you're going to park below the Homa Brown.
But we know Monday. We know where he said to park.
What do you know? I don't remember that.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
He didn't say where to park, did he? Oh, okay, I mean,
yes.
Well, that's exactly why we're going to show you exactly what he said, everybody, and not talk about it, because I'm not remembering what Kpro's remembering. So this will be good. So turn in Monday if you want to see what that's all about.
And
I don't
will
remember
say,
him saying anything about parking, but okay.
Here's a really cool thing. I believe there are 3 quotes that one Cynthia thinks is really important. There's one that I think is really important, and there's one that Mike thinks is really important. I don't think they overlap. Like, I will tell you Monday, I don't think this big aha one. I have a big aha one, and Mike has a big aha one, and they don't overlap. The cool part is I don't think any of those 3 are being used. So we're going to be able to, like Monday, I think really Cynthia is going to ride a drive jip, if you will. And so because she really wants to get into some serious discussion. But the other 2, I think I'll drive one because
Who did you
say? Is it my side, or I'm not hearing Mike? No, you're cracking, so I think it's actually your plug.
You can talk. Keep going.
Oh, there you go. You're back. You're back. Okay.
I think I got it.
Okay.
What I was saying is, did you say who's going to be on the show Monday?
Yeah, Cynthia Meacham is going. Well, I hope I did. Cynthia Meacham is going to be on the show. She's going to be our guest. She's actually bringing an additional quote that she has that relates to the quote, but it's not as impactful. It's our quote and her quote together brings something.
It is interesting. It will provoke some discussion. I'll say that. So make sure you tune in Monday, 6 p.m., and we're going to go over that. I'm back, William. I'm back. Okay.
So we're at Homa Brown. Why is Brown capitalized? I think is important. I do think it's significant. It's not just random.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what though. I've had names of people. I've had
what? Sorry. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. What if Brown was not capitalized? Look at this. What if it was put in below the Homa Brown? Wouldn't everybody just assume that's a color? And everybody would be like, okay, so when you're driving down the canyon, there's something that's brown, and that's it. Don't you think he capitalized it to point out it's not a color, it's a person, place, or thing? Does that make sense to anybody out there?
I do see what you're saying, but I actually think it's more than that. I think it's only really not a color. I think it is a proper noun, which we have the noun category, person, place, or thing. It's not brown trout or like some people thought. Well,
it's a specific thing, not a general thing. Is that?
Well, let's say it's not it could be a ranger which wears brown. I've just heard so many different browns. It can't just be a generic fish. It would have to actually be a specific fish that would have brown as the capitalization, that sort of thing. So I think needs to be a proper, like mine. I went down a rabbit hole for a while. There was a Judge Joe Brown, or I don't think his name was Joe. I think that's from TV. Brown, the person's last name was Brown. There was a Brown Canyon actually formerly in the. So I think Brown is not a it is a actual person or place or thing.
Yeah, I agree. So I think Forrest capitalized it so that we would realize it's something more specific than just a color. It's an actual, a proper noun, right, or a pronoun. And then I just realized at the beginning of this, I said super chat's on, but it's not on because we're on the Hint of Riches channel. So super chat is not on. But yeah, and we will be on the Hint of Riches channel on Monday. So you should subscribe. We're still at 800 subscribers, which is good. Okay. Now, okay, let me voice this and see if you agree, and everybody in the chat room, see if you agree, Kpro. He told us where to begin it. Yep. He told us to take it, meaning move, in a canyon down, which could be south or it could be the direction of the water. In other words, he's saying go. He's even saying it's too far to walk, so let's say we're driving. Now he tells us to park, which is put in. Where do we park? We park below the home of Brown. Now, I don't know what below means. Does that mean south? Does that mean... Well, I think we have to figure out what the home of Brown is to know how to figure out where below is. Okay. So right now we're standing. Let's say we're there. We're standing below the home of Brown. When we go to the next stanza, where are we supposed to go? He doesn't tell us where to go. He says from there, it's no place for the meek, but that's not a direction. That's not he's not telling. I mean, in other words, why is he not now saying, and now take it this way or take it that way? He says it's no place for the meek. Does that mean wherever we are below the home of Brown is no place for the meek?
Because they attach. They're contiguous.
Right.
Yes, consecutive.
The end is ever drawing nigh. Now, a lot of people said nigh means to the left. So are we supposed to just look to the left from where we're standing below the home of Brown? It seems like the directional clues have stopped once we get to the home of Brown and we put in below it, which to me means park. Park below whatever the home of Brown is. Now, where am I supposed to go? It doesn't really say, because right here, then the next stanza is the blaze. Boom. What if we're not supposed to travel anywhere? What if this is just looking around below the home of Brown? What if the blaze is below the home of Brown? We're in the same general location. This is just trying to tell us how to find it, maybe? Does that make any sense whatsoever?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I don't know if I want to be that absolute with an answer. Could be is my answer, but my answer is really, I think Meek is the location. I definitely think Meek is, obviously Blazes. And then this is where we get into some of the first three, I'm solid. They have to be, in my opinion, of the 9, those 3 have to be. But
have
Meek,
to be what?
I believe,
when you say solid, what do you mean?
One of the 9 location/clues.
Oh, yeah, these are actual places you go to. I agree with that.
Right. I believe Meek is as well, and Blazes as well. But the rest of them, I don't know. And that's where I think they could be directional, or I think clues. But let's answer something from William.
Okay.
He says the word put in is a boating term. I always thought of the poem as different modes of transportation throughout. What is your opinion? I believe he walked it all. That's my opinion. I believe he took a car, and I believe it is walking, in my opinion.
I agree that put in is a boating term, but I don't think it has to be a boating term. If
I
I'm
think
driving
it could be.
and somebody says put into that rest area, I know they mean to park. You know what I mean? I think when you're traveling, a put in means to stop somewhere and change your mode of transportation. I think put in means really change your mode of transportation. For fishing, it means get into a boat. But if I'm driving, can a put in now mean to walk, get out and walk?
Can you go up on the display? Go back down. Begin it where warm water salt. Yeah. So not far but too far to walk, put in, then goes with that.
Say it again.
Not far but too far to walk, then put in goes exactly with what you're saying. Then you go to a different mode of transportation. Yeah. I don't believe that. I believe he walked. I believe when you are able to walk there and walk back, period.
No driving involved?
Obviously, there's driving because it's not at my house.
No. I mean, when you get to where warm waters halt, do you have to drive between Canyon Down and Home of Brown? Do you think the too far to walk means drive, or do you think it means something else?
I believe now, where warm waters halt to the blaze, you are walking.
So from where warm waters halt, you walk to the blaze?
Yes.
Okay, so too far to walk must mean something else. I guess we'll figure it out when we get there.
That's what's killing me. Yes.
Right. Okay. Well, he did say some people, now correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he say some people solved the first 2 clues and they walked right past or went right past the other 7? So if some people have solved clue number 1 and clue number 2 and they went right past the other 7, maybe that's
I don't think
because
he
they're
said
getting this
2
wrong.
or 7. I think he said the first couple and then walked by the rest or something generic like that.
Oh, I'm going to Terry Scant. I thought that's what he said.
Terry Scant.
Not that it matters, but.
Like Molly Brown, like Mr. AU says.
What's that?
Well, it's AU828. He drank tea with Olga. This is a hint. Molly Brown in the tea room. The treasure is within Denver, Colorado city limits. Look at the street names all around Denver. You will see. But interestingly, if you look around West Yellowstone, my goodness, there's a lot of street names that also attach there. So, but could be, absolutely, why not? But yeah, but it's off the beaten path. If it's in the city limits of Denver, I think it's off the beaten path. It's off of a trail. It's off of, I don't know. Only 2 clues can be found on a map because of the little girl from India. Oh, that's an interesting way to think about the comment said. The little girl from India can't get past the first 2 clues because maybe Google Earth doesn't go down that far, and she's not physically there. Oh, maybe.
And yeah, I'm actually, when I put to Terry Scant, this is the first thing that popped up. The little girl in India cannot get closer than the first 2 clues. That's the exact quote. There are many disabled people who are deeply into maps and geography. They're having a lot of fun. So that, to me, that means you cannot get closer from a map. They're on a map. You can't get closer than that because you have to be boots on the ground. Is that what you just said?
No, that's not. You talked about the quote where he said, people have solved the first 2 clues and then they walk past the next 7. I don't think he ever said that.
Went right past. The exact was went right past.
Okay, so where has he said first 2 clues and then walk past them?
I'm
people
looking.
Have solved. Okay, yeah,
I'm looking.
So that's okay. Okay, so oh my gosh, you have some poker to play, my friend, and we are over in time.
Oh so no, we're not done yet. Come on, we got to keep going here. Let me find the.
Oh
quote,
my gosh, you scolded me earlier,
right,
like
listen,
I'm not missing poker, and we have to cut off at a certain time.
I
okay,
found
go
the
ahead.
quote. Here's the quote. You ready, everybody? Some folks correctly mentioned the first 2 clues to me in an email, and then they went right past the other 7, not knowing that they had been so close.
I stand correct. Is that legitimate? You
That's
just read
on Terry
that?
Scant. Now it doesn't. It says consolidated. It didn't say where. Some folks correctly mentioned the first 2 clues in an email, and they went right past the other 7, not knowing they'd been so close.
Click on where the consolidated came from.
There's nothing to click on.
Yes, there is. In the upper right-hand corner,
for this
says
one,
Forrest.
It doesn't have anything.
Okay, then that makes it useless.
Oh, okay.
No, all because they also use blogs, and they also use some of the blogs that are ridiculous to use. So hold on. What keyword did you use?
Oh, wait, jump to video results. Maybe it was in a video.
No, give me the 7. I'm just going to use 7.
I searched.
Okay, consolidated. Click here.
All right, anybody. People can.
Dal Neitzel. Okay, Dal Neitzel site. Yeah, just click on where it said. Okay, I don't know why that was hard.
Okay.
Okay, where it says see a link, click here. You click there, and it brings up the cheat sheet. Okay.
Others have figured the first 2 clues and went right past the treasure and didn't know it. No one has given me the correct solve past the first 2 clues. These are things on Terry Scant. I'm just reading.
Okay.
Random.
Yeah, but okay, the issue that I have with Terry Scant is I have clicked on some things in Terry Scant and Chase Chat quotes. If someone says it on Chase Chat, just like my 1 mile thing, that's not legit to me to be gospel, to be official. So if you click on that, like if you would have, Dal Neitzel, that is a site, that and Jenny's site. Oh, anything.
Did you find it on there? Yeah. Oh, okay. So it's legit. So some searchers have mentioned the first 2 clues and then went right past the other 7.
Yes.
Right? Okay. And we were talking about the first 2 clues, meaning somebody mentioned to him the correct where warm waters halt, and somebody mentioned to him the correct canyon down, but then they went right past the other 7. And if they were driving, maybe they went past the home of Brown, which means they went past the other 7. I'm just thinking out loud. I mean, maybe that's a possibility that they drove right past. He said went past. That could be walking as well. They could have walked right past it. But that's what they did. I mean, according to him, that's what somebody did. They kept going and missed the other 7. What'd you say?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay.
I can't rule it out. I mean, I can't at this point. I'm not refined enough in my solve to say whether we're walking or we're driving or any of that. I'm still
right. And I haven't really been looking at the chat, so sorry everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if Homer Brown is clue 3, like I was saying, he's not really telling us where to go here. It just says from there it's no place for the meek. The end is ever drawing nigh. There'll be no paddle up your creek, just heavy loads and water high. And then this is clue 9. I mean, we know that. This is clue 9. I know it. I know somebody out there may say it's not, but
it is, just like WWWH. It is.
Yeah. How do we get the other 6? The other 5,
well,
sorry.
What did he say? He said
clues,
the first.
So,
Didn't he say that when somebody read that first stanza? Didn't he say there's at least 3 or 4 clues in there?
Yeah. Well, stanza 2.
Remember what he said?
Yeah. He said it sounds
there.
like 3 or 4 to me, but see, he said 3 or 4, but when he says sounds like, I think he means as a searcher. I don't think he was saying there's definitely 3 or 4 clues in here. He says sounds like.
Yeah, William, I don't know if they're updating anymore, and I know that they also take from some inaccurate areas. So it's not perfect, but it's pretty good for what's out there.
Terry Scant?
Okay. Yeah, the Terry Scant website.
So you want to end it, or you want to keep going for, say, another 30 minutes?
I have no issue. You are supposed to be...
We'll end it at 7:30. We can do another, because we're talking about the poem. I think it's important.
Okay. Yeah, so let's go maybe 2 more minutes, and then we have to leave some time for some other things. Okay, so in my opinion, Meek is one, even though he's never been quoted talking about Meek. He's talked about the Blaze, he's talked about Homer Brown, he's talked about Where Warm Waters Halt, and to me, he's talked about the Canyon. Those 4, I feel, are locked in solid. Those are absolutely 4 of the clues, no doubt whatsoever.
Now, Bill Gorman is saying proximity comments were 6 years ago, and you can't push them as current. Well, I'm not saying any of this is current, but it's just we're almost 10 years into this thing, and these are things he said over the years. I mean, he should go back and update, but he's not going to. I mean, it is what it is. He said it at one time. So.
Yeah, I think in Feb 4 or the annual 6-question update, whatever you want to call it, I think he said somebody has solved up to clue 4. I think it was.
He said maybe. Exactly. Yeah, he said possibly.
Yeah.
So that would be that would mean somebody got to the right Homer Brown, but then maybe they're stuck right here, because how are these clues? What if it's per line 4, 5, 6, 7? Unless heavy loads is a clue and water high is a separate clue.
We need 5 clues within that stanza right there.
Unless too far to walk is a clue, then it would be 4.
Yes, then it would be 4. But let's go back down.
Not far, but too far to walk, right?
So if we need 5 clues, no place for the meek.
From there,
drawing nigh.
Meaning here. So right now we're below the Homer Brown. From there, from the Homer Brown, it's no place for the meek. Maybe that does tell us where to go once you're in the right place. I mean, I'm not sure how, but
I'm going to put meek as clue 4, in my opinion.
Okay. We don't know. You have to be there for that to make sense.
Yeah, don't put it in red, maybe. I don't know.
Well, no, that's what we're trying to do, is just come up with a comprehensive way to do it.
Well, and then drawing nigh.
This is all our opinion. Right.
What's drawing nigh is clue 5.
So, okay, let's look at it literally. So I'm standing at below the Homer Brown, and from there, it's no place for the meek. What if there's 2 trails, and one's labeled meek and one is labeled something else? Which one do you take?
Meek.
No, it's no place for the meek. You take the other one, right? Well, that's how I'm thinking about it.
All right.
I'm just trying to think how that can make sense. If something's labeled meek, I go the other way. Well, let's see, no place for the meek. Yeah, okay. Well, I have to decide that. And then...
Well, one is okay, have you ever watched, what's what Bell?
Saved by the Bell?
Oh, the kid movie, Belle and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast. Have you ever watched Beauty?
Actually, I don't think I've ever seen the whole thing, no.
Oh my God. Well, so the father goes up to a fork in the road, and he's like, there's one that looks, it's overgrown, it's terrible, looks scary. The other one looks, there's little Tweety birds. And he's like, this way's a shortcut. And the horse is looking at it going, no, we're going this way. And he's like, no, it's a shortcut. And he goes down the meek way. I mean, like the one that is scary. What do you think of that? Like between the fork and the road, you go down the one that looks scary or looks, and maybe it's not looking scary. Maybe it's called, one's called meek, one's called not. I don't know.
Because Forrest says it's no place for the meek, meaning go. The no place for the meek is the one you want to go to. Okay.
Maybe.
From there.
Okay, what is William saying? From Mike's 3 to 9 clues, there's only 4 lines. That would be hard to get 5 clues between them. Why do the other stanzas have, if you have the test at that point? Can you back up, Mike? Because here's something that I think is important. Heavy loads and water high, I'm starting to believe is 2 different clues.
Well, what William's saying is, what about the rest of this? If this is clue 9, what about the rest?
Oh, we can get into that because of the last searcher meetup. Oh, we're going to talk about trove and what trove means. I think we have some legal stuff happening.
Well, let me answer Blue Fox. He says, yes, several people have gotten the first 2 clues. So many people have been to the correct home of Brown. Well, not if you think the canyon is clue number 2. They have not yet gotten to the correct home of Brown. In other words, they've gone down the correct canyon, but they go past the home of Brown. That's my opinion. Now, Forrest said possibly somebody solved up to 4 clues.
Did he say somebody or some, or I don't know what he said?
He said some have possibly solved the first 4 clues. He's not sure. Forrest said he's not sure. I don't know why he would say that. But for Forrest to say the first 2 clues, I think it's just the right canyon. I don't think they found the Homer Brown. Just my opinion, but
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you go down, I think look at down. Oh wait, go back up.
Mm-hmm.
Paddle up your creek is 6. Heavy loads water high is 8.
Could this be? So this is 7-8.
Yep.
And clue. Son of a. So, okay. We stop and we park and we're below whatever the home of Brown is. From there, I'm just trying to think it out in a literal sense.
Well, but you said
geographic locations, right? What's that?
It's okay. Keep going.
So from there, it's no place for the meek, meaning you go that way. You go to the place because he's saying from there, it is no place for the meek. So go to the place, it's no place for the meek.
Mm-hmm.
And then the end is ever drawing nigh. Does that tell us where to stop or where to turn?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said 9 means it's close to being over. In other words, your end is almost over. But maybe that's a clue to go to the left. Maybe wherever.
It's a double entendre.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe this is a trail that forks, and this is saying take the left side. And then no paddle up your creek. I don't know. I don't know how that's a geographic location. Definitely could be. I'm just saying I don't know.
Well, it's a dry creek bed or something that has some you have to be on the ground, but something that you can actually see that has dried up, or you don't need a paddle anymore because the creek obviously was there before, but now it's dried up.
Right.
No? You don't like that?
Yeah, no, it could be. Yeah. That's why there's no paddle, because there's no water. Right.
You hate that.
What's that?
You hate that. You hate the no crap. No, well, that's
no, I get it.
That's
what
I get it. Yeah.
So the end is ever drawing nigh. To your left, there's going to be a creek with no water. That type thing, right? But then, if there's no water, there's heavy loads and water high. Now, that could be the water mark. The water high could be the mark when there was water, but there is none now. I'm not sure about the heavy loads.
Heavy loads. Is there a big pile of rocks that some people think it's under piles of rocks? That's heavy loads. Waterfall is another, which Forrest has kind of poo-pooed the idea of a waterfall, but it could be waterfall. And the waterfall could bring those 2 together. Where it's water's high or going low and there's heavy loads at the bottom of it.
And then we get into clue 9. The if you've been wise means if you followed this entire stanza. I think this is, I hate to say this is straightforward, but I think this is going to be the easy part. But then when you get here, this is like, what does all that mean?
Well,
so
and
he's saying
if you've been wise, right next to, Bighorn was my specific location. And what's the nearest town to the Bighorn on the Nez Perce Trail? Wisdom.
Oh, really? If you've been wise, maybe it's a play on words.
That's where I was like, oh my God, this is it. Yeah, that was because that's where I found the blaze right after I found, if you've been wise, that's where I found. So.
And then, so why is it that I must go? And then the rest. Now, this is, again, back to the story. He's saying, why did he do this? The answer I already know, and the answer is in The Thrill of the Chase is because he got cancer, right? He's now I'm weak, in my opinion. That's what he's saying. He calls it a trove. I don't know if legally. You were saying something about the word trove?
Yes. And Sassy, when I would like you to put in the chat whether it's okay what us or is it okay to put that out publicly. But keep going, Mike.
Your mic's cutting out a little bit. I don't know why.
Oh, is it?
Maybe plug it in or something. I don't know. Like make sure it's pushed all the way in. And then the last part here, yeah, it sounds better. So hear me all and listen good. Your effort will be worth the cold. If you are brave and in the wood, I give you title to the gold. Yep. I personally think he's saying, so hear me all and listen good means this is open for anybody. This poem is for anybody that finds it. He didn't write it for his grandson. He didn't write it for a specific person. I think legally it's important for him to say everybody. So hear me all and listen good. Your effort will be worth the cold. If you are brave and in the wood, I give you title to the gold. To me, that's just saying, hey, everybody, anybody who reads this poem, you have a chance. If you can figure it out and go find it, I'll give you title to the gold.
Sassy, is it okay to discuss the trove discussion that we had at the Searcher meetup? I'll go with you offline. I don't want to say more than that.
Where was I?
So
I must have missed it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had a discussion. Oh, you were probably playing poker. But okay, so much like stanza 1, I think the stanzas 5 and 6 are for legal reasons, but also are significant confirmers to yourself.
So also confirmers. So in other words, then go in peace. Maybe there's something there that means the right location. Peace, something like that. Maybe.
I think peace. I think trove. I think tired. I think possibly weak. The listen good. Hear me all. Me all is if you go into. I mean, I've gone down so many rabbit holes here that I think are important, but then never seem to be important.
So. Sassy says, "Go ahead and talk about it." But Bill brought up a point. He said the trove is what we're all seeking, not the gold. Is that an important legal difference?
Yes. So I think we need to do a show on this because trove, the word trove is important to antiquities law. I haven't looked it all up, but Sassy went into it at the Searcher meetup. I think there are people around. And how you're able to sell something off when you have antiquities within a trove, but when it is a trove, where there's some exceptions and exclusions from a legal standpoint. I found it really interesting because she had enough detail where it totally made sense, but something I totally didn't know. So I think it'd be cool.
Anon says trove has a legal definition, and him calling it a trove doesn't make it so. In other words, just because Forrest called it a trove, is it legally a trove?
No, you look at what's in there that no one knows that it's no, those are antiquities. Those go by dates. But then the word trove, I think it's dependent on what's in the box.
So didn't he say like there's like a jade figurine or a jade necklace? It's like 1,000 years old. That would be covered under that antiquities law, you're saying?
Yeah, so you can't sell it. So from what I understand, I haven't researched it myself, but from what I understand, you can't just sell it on the open market then when it's over a certain number of years old.
So everybody who says, yeah, go ahead.
Except if it's a part of a trove. If it's a part of a trove, you can as long as it stays intact.
Oh, I was just going to say, so the people who say I'm going to put the whole chest and contents on Sotheby's, they can or they can't? Is that what do we say?
They can if they put, from what I'm understanding, and I want to do my own research to just confirm it, but also have Sassy on if she will be on. If somebody says, oh, I want to give him the bracelet, I want to take the frog, and then all the rest of it can go up there, you've broken up the trove. From what I'm understanding, you can't do that. Maybe that's how Forrest knows. If you're saying you're going to give him that back and you can't give it back and also sell it. I don't know.
And remember, everybody, we're all armchair lawyers, armchair scholars. Yeah. This is all just opinion. But I mean, I just looked up treasure trove law and legal definition, and it says a treasure trove is gold, silver, gems, money, jewelry, etc., found underground or in cellars or attics, where the owner of the treasure is not known. We know the owner of the treasure. Does that mean it's not a trove? Because according to this, it says.
According to what? Like trove.com?
Yeah, what is uslegal.com. uslegal.com, whatever that is. Yeah. Okay. What qualifies as a treasure trove and legal rights to it vary considerably from country to country. The English common law from the 1760s held to the 1880s, but that's English. We're not worried. In the U.S., the finder of a treasure trove has a superior claim to it against all others except the original owner. And right there in the poem, maybe that's true, because in the poem, Forrest says, I give you title to the gold. He's saying, I'm giving it to you.
Well, Sassy says the $2,500, the 2,500-year-old bracelet is illegal to sell individually, but could be sold as a part of a trove. Holly says he always talked about specific dates when talking about the 22 beads that were found. Holly, that's also a part of the documentary footage. And maybe that'll be interesting to put out, because he went into excruciating. I mean, we have a lot of footage on that, because he did go into detail and why. But he talks about the value of it, and the value is much less. And there was some reason he said that that was important for him to have back. And then he gave another example. Remember that?
Kind of vaguely. And again, that's why we need to actually show it.
Right,
yeah,
right. That could be an interesting one to have out as well, because I think it's just more interesting than anything.
So it's interesting. I mean, Forrest, let me put it to you this way. Does Forrest Fenn still own that treasure chest? It's in the Rocky Mountains somewhere. Today, before anybody finds it, does Forrest still own it legally?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer enough to know. And lawyers, God, and it's what can be proven in court. I don't care what Forrest thinks.
Right.
Lawyers prove different stuff in court. So,
well, if I drop, and let's go back to the wallet analogy. Some people love this, but some people hate it because they're like, it's not a wallet, it's a treasure chest. But if I'm in Yellowstone National Park and my wallet falls out of my pocket, and somebody comes along a week later and finds it, my driver's license is in there. I legally own the wallet. Now, of course, he could take whatever he wants out and throw it away. But what I'm saying is, legally, do I own that? I dropped it. That's a good question. I would think so, because the identification means it's mine. That wallet's mine.
Yeah, except for there is a public document out there that says that he no longer owns it. Now, here's the other piece. That's one piece.
What public document are we talking about?
The poem. It says, I put this treasure chest out there and I no longer own it. It's abandoned property. I do not think it's lost property. You're saying it's lost. You lost your wallet.
Yeah, right. So now we go to, what if I purposely leave my wallet in Yellowstone National Park? Because I want to see if the person who finds it contacts me or not.
Then abandonment is different than lost, and those are two different legal terms. I took a ton of time. I was going to do a show on it, and then I went, holy heck.
It's hard, yeah.
And those definitions differ from federal land to state land to Indian land, and what all of those mean. Now, let me even go further.
Right.
Let's say the legal document says something, and Forrest poem says something, and some dirty lawyer, sorry, Joe Lewicki, I don't think you're dirty, but most lawyers are. What if a lawyer gets a hold of it? And let's say Sassy that won the David Blaine, that happened to have Random House represent her. She had 4 people sue her. Is she going to just take whatever settlement so she keeps whatever it is, or spend $100,000 on lawyers to make sure she is protected to say, cut it out? That's the other piece to this. There is going to be if there was lawsuits on a $100,000 hunt, there's going to be lawsuits on this one because of all the shenanigans that have happened.
I don't think any will be valid, but they'll definitely try. Yeah.
But it doesn't matter if it's valid. If somebody's willing to settle, if they're willing to, they're willing to.
I don't think he's abandoned it, because as Denise Bagley points out right here, he says, and leave my trove for all to seek. It's still Forrest Fenn's until somebody finds it.
No, but he has been quoted, and you can see video of him saying, it's no longer mine. It is that person's.
Well, it's nobody's until they find it. So nobody owns it now. It's just out there waiting to be found, right?
Well, I would say maybe Forrest owns it until somebody,
because his autobiography is in it. And his hair, I mean, people would know, if somebody was to find the treasure chest, even though Forrest says this won't happen, if somebody was to stumble upon it and not know who Forrest Fenn is or not know about the poem, they take it home and they're like, what's this? And they read that autobiography, they're going to be like, Forrest, here, I found this. You know what I mean? Has he ever said if the poem is in the treasure chest? That's a good question. I wonder if the poem is part of his
autobiography is, right?
But I wonder if the poem is part of that. We should have asked him that. I never thought of that, if the poem is in there or not. Yeah, it's a hard question. Everybody's got a different opinion. Like, if I purposely leave my wallet under a rock in Yellowstone, is it still mine, or did I abandon it? And then whoever picks it up now owns it legally. Legally, they're supposed to turn it in, right?
lawsuit is on the brain. I know how they work, and good people get screwed over by lawyers that are vicious. So yes, it absolutely happens, and that's what I'm worried about. At least Sassy had Random House representing. Do I think that Forrest is going to represent the finder of this one because he thinks he has it all buttoned up? He might have it all buttoned up, but once all these searchers that are, well, I won't get into the negative tonight, but
well,
okay,
Forrest
I think
has
every
also
single
said, what if there is no legal issue? In other words, Forrest makes it sound as if he's taking care of it. Because in that video interview, he said, what if there is no legal problem?
Right. And do you remember when he says, who would go after anyone that is doing good for Jamie Jordan in the Jamie drawing? No one will ever turn you in.
Right. Oh, there's always crazy people that are going to do things. Yeah, I get it.
And that's the one thing that surprised him. Do you remember? Okay. I think that every single suit against me did not stop to think that Random House would defend me. They thought I would settle because I could not afford a lawyer.
They're just trying to get money.
That's exactly it. And unless Forrest has thought of that and represented that redneck with 12 kids, they don't know what they're going to get into. I mean, it must have put Sassy's mind at ease. Probably she went, oh, lawsuit. And then when Random House said, we will take care of all the bills, we've got bigger lawyers than them, we have general counsel, they're already on retainer, don't you worry about it. That made them feel better. I don't believe that's a question I should ask Forrest. Are you going to represent the finder when they have lawsuits? There's going to be lawsuits, whether they're valid or not. The only people that win are the lawyers. Okay. Not stumbled on the chest, but you can stumble upon the solve area. I can see that, Jack. I agree with you there. Okay, so we have the 9, right?
Yeah, I think so. All right, let's get back. Yeah, we're all set. What am I doing here? All right, let's get back to the poem real quick.
Yeah, take lawyer spray when you go on the hunt.
We went on a detour there, everybody. We went on a legal detour. Begin at warm water's halt's clue 1, if you didn't know. And take it in the canyon down is clue 2. It's too far to walk clue 3. That's a question mark. But Homer Brown is definitely a clue. So that would mean there would be 4. This would be 4.
Okay, can you put a number right next to clue 1? 100%. Just put 100, face 100.
Yeah, I got you. 100%. We know that.
Second one, I'm going to put 90.
90%. This is Kpro's percentage, everybody. Homer Brown.
100%. Not that it's clue 3, that it's a clue.
That it's a clue, right? Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm going to go.
This is the gray area. This is where it gets hard, I think.
Yeah. I'm going to go 60%. No, 75. 75.
$1. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
And silver drawing 9. I'm going 50.
50%. Okay.
50 on paddle.
50. Well, how? Okay.
I did that. 50, 50. 50 and 50.
50 and 50. And then this is 100, right?
And that's 100.
Man, we can't even figure out what the clues are. No wonder nobody can find this thing.
And I'm 100% sure they're not in stanzas 1, 5, and 6. Boom! Blow up the internet right there.
You know what I think's interesting is he says, if you are brave and in the woods.
Jack, I'm not ignoring anything. It's hard to keep up with the chat, and I know you have it solved. Go get it, my friend. Please go get it. Can we get you a bus ticket? Let's go.
Or come on the show, Jack. You want to have a discussion?
No, I think Jack's the one that wants to say, maybe I'm wrong. I have it solved, but I'm not going to tell you where it is or any of the hints. I'm just going to.
Yeah, don't
Jack,
come on the show.
Come on. Actually, Jack says some really good stuff, and it does intrigue me. But no, we're here for discussion, not just, I know it, but I can't tell you.
But this is a if-then preposition. I don't know if that's right. But he says, only if you are brave and in the wood do I give you title to the gold. In other words, what if I find it, I retrieve it, and then when it's in my apartment, somebody steals it? Forrest won't give them title to the gold because they weren't brave and in the wood. It's almost like he's saying only the person who followed the clues in the poem, that's the person who gets the title to the gold.
Well, but here's a question. Somebody brought this up, one of the new tubers, and I don't remember her name, but she is 9 sentences, so I'm not really sure yet. I'm going to keep watching her. She just started a couple weeks ago. If you are brave and in the wood, it's not if you are brave and in the woods. So there's something there, right? This is what I mean by clues. I think they're clues. They're not hints. Right. Or no, wait. They're hints, but not clues. But there's more of a there there. There's a there there.
What if the treasure chest is in a tree? That's not a man-made structure.
Okay, Okie, you're saying WWW. Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah,
I got to call Okie out.
I ignored it.
WWWH is not 100%. You're saying that WWWH is not one of the 9 clues. Let's go back up. Go back up.
Jack is the lead searcher in his own mind. I agree with that for sure. Go back up to here. Of course, how do you say 100% is not 100% that it's a clue? That, I don't know.
It's 100% a clue. Now, some people can say whether it's the first clue or not. He actually said the first clue, but we're not saying in what order. But I believe where warm waters halt, home of brown. Go down a little, Mike. Blaze. Whoa.
Yeah, there we go.
Blaze. There's 3 of them that are absolutely the case. Like absolutely Blaze, home of brown, and where warm waters halt. Those are absolutely clues. Those are one of the 9. So 3 of the 9 we have down.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree with that. This
and
whole
Jeffrey,
thing is very subjective.
Mike and I were having this debate or discussion earlier. Mike, do you see what Jeffrey said? He only gives you title to the gold, but what about the artifacts? I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it was either Jonesy or Sassy. We had a discussion with this at the meetup too. I think he means everything, even though he doesn't say everything. And a lawyer could just hone in on exactly that. Okay, you take the gold, but now it's 50-50 for everything else. My opinion. So.
Yeah, I agree. Michael O'Connell is in the house. 100% a clue. Forrest said it is the first clue. Yeah. Now, Czar says, what if the blaze is FF on a tree and the treasure is in the bottom of the hollowed out tree? That's possible. And a lot of people have said a tree won't last to stand the test of time, but it's possible. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're the lead searcher, did you need to get coffee this morning? Go get it. Like what?
Yeah, no, everybody's a lead searcher, but they just can't go get it.
We did a poll on Thor. How many of you think the gut feel and you're the lead searcher? And there was, I think, 35 that legitimately said yes. I think it's silly. Do we know why Forrest? Wait, do we know why was Forrest Fenn's investigation was never closed?
It was never closed. It's still open.
That is not the information I have. So if you have different, I know some people have said it's never been closed. Holly, I've never seen that. If there is additional information that could be given, I can tell you I know a lot about this one. I'd like to see it because I do not believe that necessarily to be the case.
So. Blue Fox says yes, I agree. Forrest would give a fair price for the chest. I don't think Forrest has ever said he would buy it back. Has he ever said that to anybody? Not that I know.
He hasn't, but with this whole trove part that Sassy brings up with the antiquities laws, I wonder if that's...
I think Forrest Fenn owns that treasure chest. It is his property until it's found.
No.
And when it's found, it's still his property, but he may say keep it. And I give you title, keep it.
Who is it that if a tree falls in the forest and no one there to hear it, is it still a sound? Who cares? I mean, I'm sorry to say, who cares? Like, I mean, do we?
It's fun to talk about the legal issue. I mean, that's all we're doing. It's more important to talk about the clues, but it's fun to talk about the legal issue. Jack.
So Jack is saying it is one person is the lead searcher, right? In my opinion, no. And there is a reason for that, and that is going to be one of the things that we will discuss in the future. I believe if a lead searcher doesn't know they're a lead searcher, if Forrest does not confirm that they're a lead searcher, and if they don't have the treasure chest, there's lots of different ways. I don't know.
There's somebody who has physically been closest to the treasure chest.
Is that the definition of a? Okay? First, we need to define it, but go ahead.
Forrest knows of one person who's been within 200 feet, right? Because of what they emailed him. That person is the lead searcher. Now,
that's your definition. That's not my definition.
Exactly. Of course. It is my. In other words, the person who's been closest to the treasure chest is in the lead. They're the lead searcher. Now, they may not have known where they were, right? But again, that person doesn't know who they are, so it doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't really help anybody.
Yeah. And Jack, I'm not trolling anyone. Anyone that needs to come into a room and say, I'm the lead searcher, look at me, I don't think is the type of person that actually has solved this poem. That's my opinion. But the people that do, they get their 15 minutes, they get their whatever they need psychologically. If that helps them come into a room and say, I am, but I can't tell you, and all of you look at me, I don't know. I don't have that psychological situation in my mind. So if it helps you get through the day, you be you, dude.
I still like the wallet analogy. So if I take my wallet and I write a piece of paper that says, "Congratulations to the finder, you just won $100 because I put $100 in it. You can keep it," and I go leave it in Yellowstone, it's still mine because I put a note in it that says whoever finds it, keep it. I guess it's not mine anymore. Is that considered abandoned property or whatever people are saying?
Okay, now I took a lot of time. I took maybe 10 hours of time, and I looked up the definition when it came to, I think it was Yellowstone. There was like 3 different types of land that I looked into, that I looked specifically at what their definition, and they vary a little bit, of abandoned there was 3 types of property. Abandoned property, lost property, and something else. I don't remember what it was. Those differed. And then how many days they were out there? Did the person know it? Did the person not know it? How much the value was? If the value's under a certain amount, the abandoned property becomes the person. Like if I go and find something for $2, it's been abandoned for 6 months.
Yeah, who cares?
That's very different than a $2 million something.
Okay. So I take $1 million in cash and I put it in a briefcase. And inside the briefcase, I put a note that says, "If you found this, you can keep it. Congratulations." And now I go bury it. I bury it in Yellowstone National Park.
Oh, that's a whole nother thing. But go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, who owns
buried
that?
versus not buried?
Yeah.
You're asking for a simple answer to a complex question.
Right.
So if you bury something based on a certain value, the answer is different. How many days it was out there is something different. Maybe that's why Forrest doesn't want to stay.
Wow.
Or how many years, days, how long has it been abandoned, etc. Did the person try to go back and find it? All of these things become important from the legal aspect. That's why I didn't want to do a show. And I talked to 2 different lawyers, and they're like, it's not an easy answer unless we really knew the answer, and then we could back it in. But if I say there's a $2 million treasure chest, here's the poem that says trove, this, that. If it's on this type of property, what's the answer?
It's BLM. I mean, what if it's so easier land?
Right.
Like
so
BLM?
you have to pull BLM regulations, and you look at the BLM regulations. It says this is what we define as abandoned. This is what we define as lost. This is what we define as something else.
So whoever owns the land that the treasure chest is on, that is the definition of if it's abandoned. Who, you know what I mean? That's the definition we have to use.
Yeah, and like JK is saying, it's all lost property. No, there's a difference between lost and abandoned property from a legal
Forrest
standpoint.
didn't lose it. He knows where it is. It's not lost.
Right. So I believe it would be more considered under abandoned, but you have to have a legal. It's not what someone says legally. It's why do we even have courts and
it's
a
the
judge?
Regulations of where it is.
Right.
It's
what a lawyer can prove in court.
Gotcha.
So when you start getting into those debates, you might have a legal document that you believe was absolutely the case, but when you get into the nuances of, well, what was the, and that's why you start a will with "I am of sound mind." There was a woman that said she was of sound mind. She donated, or when she died, she put $8 million and said, "I am of sound mind and I want the heir to my dog. The person that takes care of my dog, because it's the only person that was nice to me in the world," donated $8 million or gave $8 million to the heir of the dog. The 2 kids that treated her like crap went and sued, and they settled in court. They each got like $2 million, $2 million, and $4 million went to the rest. There is a great example. Georgia O'Keeffe, go check out her boyfriend, husband at the time. He settled with the rest of Sassy. Sassy was protected. That's why she didn't have to settle. People have to settle. I just don't think Forrest may have thought about that. I hope he did. I might be wrong. But there we go.
Well, I think he's covered it. In other words, Forrest knows the land it's hidden on. So I think he looked it up, or he had lawyers look it up, and he's realized there's a way to do this where there's no legal problem. But back to the lead searcher. Yeah.
Okay. Holy said, "Love dogs, so dumb." Here's the thing. Just because you're the child of somebody doesn't mean that you are entitled to their money. So they just didn't want their kids to get it. They're not half of their estate. I don't believe in that. I actually love animals as well. I think it was excessive. She was trying to prove a point. She didn't get it. She was already dead and gone, and the lawyers got the majority of it. And then, anyway, go ahead. Lead searcher.
Blue Fox has got a comment. He said the lead searcher has all the clues and is making some minor adjustments. To me, that's very illogical. If you have all the clues, how do you know they're right? You don't have the treasure chest. You don't have all the clues. In other words,
well, and
the
all
only
200,
yeah,
400, 500 of you, if there's 500 of you that say, because you have no confirmation that you have all the clues, you have no way of knowing. That's my opinion, but there's a lot of, and we actually, Mike, do you remember the question? If we actually asked Forrest these questions, so why do we believe that there are so many lead searchers? He answers that, and be ready for the label you're going to get when, well,
yeah, we'll show it. It'll come up. It'll be there. Until the Blue Fox. Oh, it's talking to Denise Bagley. Okay. Yeah, it's just lead searcher. You don't. I could say I'm the lead searcher because I just figured out what those 9 clues were in the poem that we just did. No, I'm as close to the treasure chest as a person who's never looked and never. You know what I mean? Until you have the treasure chest in your hand, I don't think there's any lead searcher. There's somebody who's been closest physically, but Forrest said that person was years and years ago, and they didn't know. They didn't know they knew him so well. Meaning they didn't use the clues. They just happened to be in the right area. So yeah.
I think there's something psychologically people take from this chase, and if it is they are finally the lead in something and that helps them, I think it's great. But for you to think that you actually are the closest when you have no confirmation and there is no treasure chest in your hand and you're waiting another year for whatever reason. I've had anywhere from I couldn't get off work to I couldn't afford it to I just don't feel like getting it because it'll spoil it for the rest of you.
Yeah, I don't want to end it.
All of those other things.
It's crazy.
That's I'm sorry. I'm calling. My son doesn't want me to curse, so I'm calling a bunch of bunk.
Are you serious, Czar? He said in the state of Michigan, you have to set that up for your pets. I'm Lindsay's dog's guardian, and they come with 100K. What? Is that? Well, I mean, you can do anything you want with your money and your will, right?
No, you can't because we have lawyers that change things later. So
it
this
can
woman
be challenged, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. Anybody challenge
win. And win.
Okay, Blue Fox, but since nobody knows who that is, I have 100 people who think it's them. It's kind of, I don't know.
I am declaring Mike as the lead searcher. You're the lead searcher.
That's it.
Oh, wait. No, I have a dog. My dog is the lead searcher.
So that show, we need to do that show on the lead searcher and then show that clip. We will get to it, everybody, but that's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
So we're still at 800 subscribers. Everybody should subscribe to the channel because Hint of Riches is where we are going to show the clips from the documentary. And yes, it is time to wrap up.
Yep. Yes, Bill Gorman says Forrest gets the last word. Oh, yes, exactly.
How is that a mathematical fact, Blue Fox? I don't want to argue with you, but he says, I don't claim to be closest, but I know someone who is closer than anyone else. That is a mathematical fact. That means you know the correct location. Nobody knows the correct location. They think they know, but until you have the chest, you don't know you're right. So the mathematical fact is out the window. But I don't want to argue. Everybody's got their own opinion. So, okay. Now, if you're trying to say it's mathematical fact that one person is the closest, I agree with that. One person has physically been the closest to the treasure chest. Nobody knows who that is. So how does that help?
Okay. Yeah, but Sassy, he also says, so Sassy's saying, we know he paid for lawyers. They researched this thoroughly. He knows his law, so do his lawyers. So I'm sure he'll have suggestions for the finder. There's 2 things. He actually sought lawyers after he put the treasure chest in its place. That tells me one. Yes, 2013. Both Dale and Cynthia have confirmed that they said it to him as well. 2013. He did do it before, but why did he do it after?
Everybody.
Well, that was it.
Oh, okay. I didn't
See,
know that.
I go into this. This was one of Flipside's, one of their last videos that he confirmed that. The second thing is, it's not what is factual, it's what can be proven in court. People are going to sue either way.
Okay, 2 things. Gem Hunter, thanks for joining us. I haven't seen that name before. They ask, where did Forrest say the treasure chest is approximately 12 feet from the blaze? He did not say that. What he said was, if you were 12 feet from the treasure chest, you would probably find it. I'm paraphrasing. Okay. He said something about if you're within 12 feet, you would probably find it. He didn't say anything about the blaze. So don't equate those 2 things together, okay? Okay. And
MEH asked a question. I think it's a really good one. Why do you think there is no confirmation? Forrest could have left confirmers all around his special spot.
And a lot of people think he has, right? I've talked to people who says I found something that I know I'm in the right area. I know without
And
Shadow
that's
of a
the
doubt.
issue. I believe there might be confirmers, but there's no way to know that those are confirmers because there's 200 people that have found something in their location. There's no way to know that they're actual confirmers without the chest. No one has the chest. So the only person that can confirm it, in my opinion, is Forrest. And Forrest has really weighed in on this issue, in my opinion.
Oh, Sassy's got a good one. Kpro, then we need to check what laws changed in the year that he went to the lawyers after he hit it. Maybe something changed. What if ownership of the land changed? Wouldn't that be awesome? Oh,
Do
did I just
you
spill something? What?
No, I asked that question during the interview.
See,
Do
I
you
don't
see
remember.
why?
I don't remember that. And did he
Oh,
answer it? Oh, and then the mic cuts off. Again,
no, like
guys, we're going to
I
show these
asked that
clips. We're
specific
going to show
question,
these
and I'm
clips.
going to give a shout out to Mike Davis over on Harry's forum when he posted a thing, an article, and it might have been when he was even back on Chase Chat. I don't remember. About there was a big Colorado lawsuit, and some land moved from federal land to state land or state land to federal land, and he's like, I think this is why he might have had to update with lawyers. That's the reason I asked the question.
Okay.
And
makes sense.
yes.
If there had to be a reason if he went back to lawyers to research something.
No,
That's
so
interesting.
Michael you're now saying that Forrest is not good at designing confirmers. No, I'm actually saying the opposite. If Forrest said, Michael gave me a confirmer and there is a lead searcher and it is Michael, that's one thing. If Michael goes out and says, I see confirmers and I believe confirmers, and there's 200 of those people at least, I'm the lead searcher because I believe so, I don't think that's an actual confirmer because there's too many different people.
What?
There's only one judge. Everybody's wanting to be their own judge and say, I am the lead searcher. I don't believe that that can happen. There's only one person that can confirm it because he has said there's only one person that can confirm that the treasure chest has been found or the correct solve, and that's Forrest. So for us to self-proclaim we are the lead searcher, I believe is a fallacy, in my opinion, because Forrest has not confirmed that those confirmers are accurate. Just like when someone says, I know for a fact, and then they give their solve, that if you don't have the treasure chest, it can't be a fact. It can be a very solid solve. It cannot be a fact, in my opinion.
And then Tortoise Maximus hits us with, if you are in the right spot, something you haven't thought about should be obvious to you. Maybe this quote is key to figuring out the blaze. Maybe. But back to the confirmers, what possibly could Forrest leave that would be a confirmer? I'm trying to think. So let's say we're Warm Waters Halt. There's a confirmer. What would that be? What would it be that I go, oh, I know this is, I can't think of what it would be other than a copy of the poem.
But that I don't think anybody can confirm that because I think.
How do you know another searcher didn't leave it there? Kind of like the coin.
Right.
Like at Forrest
I've had too many searchers tell
ago.
me things that they have found. They found doodles. They found arrowheads. They have found so many different things. But Jack says, I bet you dollars to donuts Forrest told you something about the lead searcher. He sure did. Wait until you hear it.
It's a true
Wait
statement.
until you hear it.
Yeah.
and maybe you'll. Yeah. Remember, Forrest says he embellishes. Yeah. And Nordic, I believe he does. So I just don't. That's actually the hardest part about this hunt. I've done some hunts where once you see it, you go, oh, that's absolutely it, because of some specific things that they want you to kind of know that you've narrowed along the way. There's no way to do that, in my opinion. Kpro, I think you may have been confusing puzzle elements with what people have been saying about it. Well, I don't know what that means. But
Michael, and you should come on the show. We could discuss it, but I don't understand what confirmer Forrest could have left that would make anyone think that has to be from Forrest. Why does it have to be from Forrest? Why couldn't it be from another searcher that wants to be a jerk to leave something that you think is from Forrest? Then, I mean, there's a lot of jerks in this chase. I don't know what could be there that you're like, that has to be from Forrest. That's all. I would just like to see some examples, or email me if you want. So, hey, I'm going to get ready to go. Do you want to keep going, Kpro?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. No, I said it half an hour ago.
And then we start talking about legalities. All right, everybody. You see how fast the time goes. I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Thanks to Forrest for this treasure hunt that we're all so involved in. I hope everybody had a good holiday. A lot of people have tomorrow off. Some people don't, but What?
Yeah, I need 2 minutes to go over and I don't know
Yeah,
if you
go
need to
ahead. I'm
get
going to do
ready,
some
but
things. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. So here's the things that you will need to know for the next few weeks. We're going to be calling them, I think, Mayhem Mondays.
Mayhem
Confirmers,
Mondays.
something that Forrest has given us. So you guys know that we are working on a documentary. That documentary is well underway, and we have put the quotes that we have gotten into 3 buckets. And we went over this on Toby's show last night. But things that we know we're going to be using for the documentary, things that we might be using for the documentary, and things that we know we're not going to use for the documentary. The one thing that you don't do as professional protocol is just put out B-roll footage in kind of a willy-nilly format. The one thing that you do is put out some specific information to get the almost like as trailers to or teasers to hint up to what we're going to be doing in the really impactful documentary. So at this point, we know of some quotes that we're not going to be using that we think would be of interest to the search community. I believe as a searcher that has a documentary footage that it would be unfair for us to just have that. So we're going to give that to the community. We've selected, I think there's probably 8, maybe more. At this point, we know we're not going to use. There's some on the bubble, and then there's some that we know we are going to use. And so that's the thing that we're going to be starting to share on Mondays. We're going to call them Mayhem Mondays. And so I do not, and I will say, I do not believe there anything that tells you what a hint is or a clue is or specifically hones in or breaks this loose. It's just really cool stuff that I think has not been heard before. And so we're going to start those this Monday. This Monday, we're going to have Cynthia Meacham on. She is going to discuss, so here's how we're going to tee up the night. The first 5-10 minutes, we're going to introduce ourselves, get kind of hi, how you doing, going. At the 10-minute mark or just about thereabouts, we are going to show the clip specifically from Forrest/Douglas for that topic for that night. Then we are going to do about 30 minutes of discussion of what that means to us, other information, other quotes. Does that confirm something? Does that contradict something? What does that mean? So that is what we are starting Mayhem Monday. That's just going to be fun. Some of them will be panels, some of them won't be. They will be actual quotes, though, and it's not just us saying Forrest said this.
Yeah, we need to show it. That's the important part.
Yeah, we're going to show the actual footage. So that is what's going to happen on Monday. For those of you that have asked about the documentary is going along. I will tell you, I had no idea what it meant to create a documentary or even a trailer or pitching, etc. There's a ton of work that's happening right now. That is well underway. There are different things that can happen, so I would like you to be aware of that. There could be anywhere from the information that is given to a network, and the network or channel buys it and says, we'll take it from here. And then that is not our right to even publish. The second is they say it is our right to publish, and we now want you to publish that documentary, etc., on our channel. They could also say no, another one, or they could ask for a series and say, okay, now we want from this, we want something in a series format, and that's where we'll have to get additional information and all of that. They actually pay to do that. So that is where we are right now. We are getting that together. We already have one. Well, we're really early on, but we do have some things that have already kind of developed pretty quickly because, again, I think we have a different niche, a different storyline than the traditional. And it's not knocking anybody. Anybody that wants to follow a searcher boots on the ground, that is their prerogative to do. I don't knock them. That is just not the way that we're going with ours. So hopefully you will see some things that you like, especially this off season. So Mayhem Mondays or Monday Madness. Monday Madness, isn't that like a football thing? Monday Madness?
Well, there's Black Friday. Maybe we should discount Chaseopoly for Black Friday. Just kidding.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, sell away, Mike.
Monday. No, I got enough to get out. Monday Madness is the thing. I don't know what it's for, but you can
Okay.
call it whatever you want. So
Monday
make sure you guys
Madness, I don't know.
subscribe and hit the thumbs up button.
Yeah.
Me and Kpro may go live over the weekend just to talk about the poem some more. You never know. So
Yeah.
make sure you subscribe so you're notified. More importantly, make sure you hit the bell. You got to hit the bell and you got to hit all. Then you will get the email saying they're live. But yeah, Monday, Cynthia, a clip from Forrest. So on a hint of riches. So that's what
a
it
couple
is.
more things.
Go ahead.
Chaseopoly, we are not going to be doing a full marketing campaign until Mike is caught up. He's hoping by the end of next week that he is caught up for all the pre-orders. Then we're going to go into marketing. Yeah.
Somebody bought one today, so thank you to whoever bought one today.
Yeah.
It'll be out by Friday.
Right now, we just opened ours. I want to thank Mike. Mike gave me one, and I told my son, "Here's something from Mike." It's so cool. And so we played some Chaseopoly today. We're going to do a little video and talk about something as we play.
Manic Monday, the Bangles. That is a good song. I remember that one.
Okay. World Series of Fenn. We're going to start gearing up for that. World Series of Fenn is President's Day and Valentine's Day weekend. February, I think it's 14th, 15th. We're also, for those of you that don't play poker, watch the poker tournament because we're going to have a Chaseopoly tournament. Who doesn't know how to play Chaseopoly? And so I think that will be super, super fun. So that is that.
Quack. I don't get it, William. Sorry. Go ahead.
Sucks. I don't know. Last thing is the marathon. We would like to do another marathon. Mike and I have said we're gonna do the marathon on Hint of Riches once we hit 1,000 subscribers. We have gone up considerably. I think October, about 6 weeks ago, is when we launched from 200. We're now at 800 subscribers. That's going to be our next one. We might bring some hard-hitting quotes for us. We might bring on some new tubers. We have a ton of ideas. Go and get someone to subscribe. We want to get to that 1,000. You get a bunch of other features like go live on your handheld. We wanted to go on our handheld device, and look what happened to my handheld device. Do you see? I'm going to have to get a new one.
Too many hints. Broke your phone.
But there's some things that we want to do really. Mike is more of the, I won't call him a poem purist at all, but he is more book poem. I'm more into crazy ideas. I want to get my channel up to 1,000 so I can do some, I won't say crazy things. I'll just say fun things, fun and different things. And it will make me get on a mobile device, that sort of thing.
Now I get it, William. Hooli, Chaseopoly can take as long as Monopoly. It depends how you play it. That is totally up to you. We do not have a website yet for Chaseopoly. That's part of the marketing campaign. So we're not going to have a website until I get all these pre-orders out. There's also somebody here that lives here in Vegas that wanted one. So make sure you reach out to me to pick it up in person. If you get it in person, it's $60. So yeah, I can't remember who that was. Go ahead.
Holy, there's something called a survivors tournament in poker. It's after 2 hours who has the most money. We're going to do something similar to that because we're going to actually do it before the poker tournament. So we might do 1 hour of who has the most money. That totally changes the game of, do you accumulate properties? Don't you? What does that look like? Kind of thing. You can also give out quite a few of the properties up front and then go from there. There's some different ways.
However you want to play it.
Yeah, so we're going to make sure that all of the rules are stated up front. We will have prizes. We do take donations of prizes as well because all this comes out of our pocket. And the poker tournament, when they take what's called a rake, they take a profit from the casino. We don't see $1 of that. So we have more expenses than not, but this is the one fun event that we will be leading this year. Yes.
Blue Fox had an interesting one. He said, if the treasure is found, will you revise Chaseopoly? Well, we're not going to change the game. The game's already made. But if the treasure is actually found, we're still going to continue to sell the game. But I would include a separate page that explains that it was found. If you guys, for those of you who've got Chaseopoly in the mail, you know that there's 2 pieces of paper that come with it. I'm not going to go into what those are. Those are separate from the Thrill of the Chase, but it's something that me and Kpro thought would be fun for the board game. But yeah, if the treasure's found, I would type up a PDF or a thing explaining that it's been found, and if the solution's out there, and then that would be with the game. So to answer your question. But no, we're not going to change the game. The game's the game. We already now if we had to reorder, but I don't know if we'll ever get to the point where we reorder the game.
And I don't know if we would. I think this is kind of like the maps and kind of like the coins. I think there's different times that there's chapters that close. Yeah.
Jimmy Fast, come on. He says, bring your Chaseopoly money from home and cheat. So at the World Series of Fenn, people have their money in their pocket. The people that have the game, that's nice. That's real nice. It's kind of funny, actually, but that's
okay. Nice. Now we need to be ready for it. So
yeah, I know.
There'll have to be cameras,
phones in the freezer, and everybody empty their pockets. That's right.
Phones in the freezer. Okay, so that is those are all the things that we have. I will say the one thing, those of you that have asked on the collection, we purchased a collection.
Yeah,
we're going to be sharing that as well. One of the things is, if you have noticed, printing 1 and printing 5 have different ISBN numbers for TPOTC. We're going to be diving into that.
And that's probably
a
when when you had to go to the lawyers because the land transferred owners. So you probably had to be a change. We'll get this thing cracked. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Somebody said Bill Gorman's live, so you guys can go check that out. I'm sure he'll have some choice words about us to say in this this show. What is on my floor? All right, well,
and so in general, we are going to go over those. None of the items are for sale yet. Some people have been asking, can I see the details? Can I buy it right away? You cannot. We want to research a little. We know what we need to know. I have even been told I'm only going to pay top dollar now. I want it right away. I respectfully decline. We just want to take a little bit of time. We do reserve the right, because it is our personal collection, to sell whenever we want. But right now, there's so much going on. We just want to have some fun with it. One thing some people have asked is, I have a little information on that. Would you be willing to share that? Yes, 100%. The information that they have on what we've already shared as a part of our collection. They have little tidbits.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
We'd love it. And tell me, yes, 1, if you want your information shared, and 2, who you are if you want some credit for it. I think it's awesome. Because there is so much that I don't know. When I sat with the collector, Mike too, they were able to just rattle off things that I just wasn't aware of. So this will be a fun thing. But the TTOTCs alone, I have 1, 3, 5, 6, the different ISBNs. I can tell you I've already found little differences. I want to see if there's any significant differences. I'm going to be working on that. Anyway, Holy says she has a nugget. Give me a nugget. Message me, and then tell me if you want your specific information out there or not. And then Doug Carver, yes, your son is on his way to a $100 US gold.
Nice.
He would I can tell you that's one of the reasons that I would like to get to 1,000 subscribers. Is the one thing I cannot do is go live on a mobile device until I'm at 1,000. And he wants to go out to some of the little creeks and try to do where I'm actually going to give him a full pan for Christmas, a full panning thing rather than the small one that Craig, it was wonderful, but I want to get like one of the round ones. We can't do that without being at 1,000 subscribers. And he's finding his voice through these YouTubes. And so it's super fun. I hear him coming, so I'm not going to.
And Wayne Ross, we have not said who we purchased it from. We may in the future, but we haven't said that yet, correct?
Yeah. I'll just double check with her. Are you sure? I know some people have contacted her. Well, I know some people have contacted her. Yeah.
And it's not Cynthia, so leave Cynthia alone. Okay. All right. I gotta go. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving.
This, Michael.
I want to go see Knives Out in the theater. That's our tradition, is to go see a movie on Thanksgiving for me. So Knives Out looks pretty good, kind of like an old school Agatha Christie whodunit. So Knives. You don't even know what that is, do you? Okay. It's pretty. I think. I'll let you guys know. I'm gonna go live sometime over the weekend, so hopefully Kpro will be with me. Maybe we'll do a movie review, The Irishman and Knives Out. We could review both of those.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, my son is really excited because I take him. He's really into movies and I'm not, and so he's like, I can't wait to go to Christmas where I can go with Mike to the movies, and so he's really excited.
Right. Okay, everybody,
knock yourselves out.
Make sure you subscribe. We got 800. We need 200 more. Thanks for the thumbs up. 20 people hit thumbs up.
Yeah, and marathon will be epic. I can tell you there will be some really good stuff to it, but get us to 1,000 so I can go out with my son to some different creeks. It can be a blast.
Okay, we will see you Monday, if not over the weekend. Monday's going to be a good show. Make sure you guys check it out. Okay.
Yes.
Now,
Tell your
last
friends.
time we ended, for some reason the stream said live for like a couple hours, and I don't know why. If it does it again, then hey, you got a chat room you guys can talk in. But we'll see.
No, don't say that. They can get crazy. No.
I don't care if they get crazy. They can say whatever they want. But that's just me.
Oh,
All right.
no, I'll check in.
See you, everybody. We'll see you.